A public defender is an attorney employed by the community and responsible for giving legal aid without cost to any person who seeks it and is financially unable to employ private counsel. It is his duty to defend those accused of crime until the issue is decided in a court of law. The first public defender's office in the United States was opened in January 1913. Over the years, other offices were opened. And today, that handful has grown to a network of lawyers cooperating to protect the rights of our clients. I'm Bart Matthews, your public defender. The case you're about to witness is a true one taken from the files of a public defender's office. A public defender is an attorney employed by your community to give legal aid to any person financially unable to retain counsel. What makes a man steal? What drives a man to commit a crime? The story of Harry Nelson started just a few months ago in Department 88 of the Superior Court at his arraignment.
Harry Nelson.
Is Harry Nelson your true name?
Yes, sir.
Is it Harry or Henry?
Harry.
Would you please speak up so that the court can hear you?
Harry.
Harry Nelson, information number 46238. You are charged with the crime of grand theft.
Mr. Nelson, do you have an attorney?
No, sir.
Do you have the money to employ an attorney?
No, sir.
Public defender appointed.
We waive further reading, Your Honor.
28th for plea.
You?
The court is recessed until 2 o'clock this afternoon.
What are we going to do? What's going to happen to us?
Oh, easy, Mom. Don't cry. Things are bad enough.
Come on, Mom, let's go.
How could he do such a thing to us? How could he do a thing like this to his family?
You're wasting your time trying to do anything for me.
Well, suppose you sit down and tell me something about it.
But there's nothing to say. You're wasting your time.
Did you steal the money, Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Why?
Why does anybody steal?
Well, can you give me some of the facts?
Well, I told everything to the police when they arrested me.
Won't you tell me? I'm your lawyer.
But I don't want a lawyer. I have no case.
Let me decide that, Mr. Nelson. Now, $2,500 is a lot of money. Where is it now?
I spent it.
On what?
That's my business. I spent it, and I'm guilty.
Well, innocent or guilty, I want to do the best for you that I can.
But I don't want a lawyer. Take me back to my cell.
Despite the fact that Harry Nelson didn't want counsel, it was my responsibility to defend him. His wife and family lived in the south end of town.
Every night after supper, he'd leave.
Where did he go?
We said he was going to take a walk.
Well, when did he come home?
Late. Most of the time, I'd be sleeping when he got in.
Where do you think he really went, Mrs. Nelson?
He stole $2,500, didn't he? It must have been for somebody else. Another woman.
Are you sure of that?
Oh, I'm not sure of anything. But how could he have taken all that money from his own boss, a man that trusted him?
Did your husband gamble? Well, did he buy anything recently?
Coat from Mary.
When was this?
A few days before he was arrested.
How much did it cost?
I tried so hard. All I wanted was a nice house, a decent place for Mary to entertain. I hated to see her bring her friends here.
Mrs. Nelson, where did he buy the coat?
The coat? Oh, it said Lucille's on the box.
Are you sure he didn't have any big household bills to pay?
I got along on what Harry made, not a penny more. It wasn't easy. Sometimes the children went without things they should have. But we got along.
We got along fine.
Donald.
Sure we did. We had everything we needed.
Donald, please, go away, study.
Now, did he ever mention any names that were strange to you? Say that he was going to buy anything expensive?
Thought I knew him like a book. I knew the words he was going to say before he said them. He wasn't always the best provider, but at least I thought he was honest.
It's not true, Mom. Dad didn't steal anything. They're lying. Dad couldn't steal.
Donald, do your homework.
I did it already. I want to stay here, Mom.
Donald.
All right.
Well, we'll see what we can find out, Mrs. Nelson. Oh, you said your daughter worked at Squire's department store?
She was going to school to become a designer. She had to quit to get a job as a stock girl. Doesn't pay very much. Wonder how we're going to get along.
I'll be talking to you very soon, Mrs. Nelson. Miss Nelson?
Oh, you're Mr. Matthews.
I'd like to ask you a few questions, Miss Nelson.
If you spoke to my mother, I can't tell you anything more. I don't know why he did it. Why did he do it?
That's what I'd like to know. I'd like to find out how he spent that money. If he could return it, he'd be in a better position.
I don't know what he did with it.
I understand he bought you a coat a few days before he was arrested.
It was my birthday.
I checked that coat, Miss Nelson. It cost almost $200. Now, your father didn't make much money.
It's mine. You can't take it away from me.
Your mother said that he took walks at night.
That's what he said.
Who was he seeing?
How should I know? I wasn't with him.
Miss Nelson, your father's in jail. Is there anything you can tell me that might help his defense?
That coat was the nicest present he ever gave me.
Thank you, Miss Nelson. Mr. Harding, the man Harry Nelson worked for, ran a printing establishment in the downtown area. A busy little shop, prosperous, too.
No, I can't understand it. I can't tell you how shocked I was when that accountant checked the books and told me. Why, Harry Nelson was with me for 18 years, ever since I started here.
He was a pretty dependable employee, wasn't he, Mr. Harding?
I thought so.
Pardon me, will you sign this, Mr. Harding?
Oh, yes. Wait a minute, I better look at this. I signed that check for Nelson the same way. I think I better know what I'm signing from now on, huh?
And that's the letter you dictated to the wholesale house.
Oh, well, that can't cost me any money. As a matter of fact, I might make a buck on this. They've been charging me too much for paper.
I'm sorry about Mr. Nelson. He's a nice man.
There you are, miss.
Mr. Harding, why is it after working for you all these years, Nelson was still a bookkeeper at $75 a week?
Well, that's all he was worth. He didn't have enough get up and go, no initiative. Well, I thought of making him head bookkeeper lots of times, but no, Nelson just didn't have it, that's all. $2,500. When he started taking, he sure didn't spare me, did he? Well, I guess I trusted him too much.
He vindicated that trust for 18 years, didn't he?
Yeah, sure. But look what it cost me in the long run. This company was Nelson's bread and butter. Why, he raised his family on what I paid him. Look at the thanks I got.
This is Nelson's first offense. I think he deserves every break he can get.
Look, Mr. Matthews, I know you're his lawyer and, well, you're trying to do what's best for him. But I figure when a man does what Nelson did, well, he deserves to go to jail.
Supposing I were able to locate and return that money, would you consider a program of probation?
Well, in that case, I might. After all, I'd have my money back.